There is a 58-story luxury skyscraper in downtown San Francisco where apartments are sold for up to $10 million. It was completed in 2009. It was praised as one of the finest residential towers on the West Coast. Today, that building has sunk 18 inches into the ground. It tilts 14 inches to the northwest, and the repair attempt, a multi-million-dollar engineering intervention designed to stop the sinking, made the tilt measurably worse before engineers could bring it back under control. This is the Millennium Tower, and this is the full story of how it happened. San Francisco sits on some of the most geologically complex ground in North America. The city was largely built on landfill, material dumped into the bay over centuries to extend the shoreline and create buildable land. When the 1906 earthquake struck, it was the landfill areas that suffered the worst damage. The soil liquefied, buildings sank. Fires spread through neighborhoods that solid bedrock districts survived. Engineers in the decades that followed developed increasingly sophisticated methods for building on this ground. The standard approach for a major high-rise: drive piles all the way down through the unstable soil until you hit solid bedrock, typically 60 to 90 feet below the surface. Anchor the building to the rock. Let the landfill settle around it. The building doesn't move because it's tied to something that doesn't move. When developer Millennium Partners began planning their tower in the early 2000s, they made a different choice. Their geotechnical engineers concluded that driving piles to bedrock wasn't necessary. Instead, they would use friction piles, shorter piles driven only 60 to 90 feet into the sand and clay layers above the bedrock. The surrounding soil, they calculated, would provide enough resistance to support the building's weight. The city approved the plans. Construction began. The tower was completed on schedule. For the first few years, everything seemed fine. Residents moved in. The building's amenities, the concierge, the fitness center, the rooftop views, lived up to the marketing. Joe Montana, the NFL Hall of Fame quarterback, bought a unit. So did dozens of other wealthy San Franciscans. But the building was sinking. All buildings settle slightly after construction. The weight of the structure compresses the soil beneath it, and the building drops a small, predictable amount. The engineers had accounted for this. What they had not accounted for was the rate. The Millennium Tower was sinking far faster than the models predicted, and it wasn't settling evenly. By 2016, 7 years after completion, the building had sunk 16 inches. It had also tilted, 2 inches initially, then more. Residents began noticing. Doors that had once closed smoothly started sticking. Window frames shifted slightly out of square. And then a local news investigation published the numbers the building's management had been tracking internally. The story went national within days. What happened next became almost as damaging as the sinking itself. The developer blamed the city. Specifically, they pointed to construction of the Trans-Bay Transit Center next door, a massive transit hub built directly adjacent to the Millennium Tower. During that construction, workers had pumped groundwater out of the excavation site. Dewatering, it's called. And when you remove groundwater from soil, the soil compresses. The developer's engineers argued that dewatering had accelerated the Millennium Tower's settlement. The city and the Transit Center Authority blamed the developer. Their position: if the tower had been anchored to bedrock like every other comparable building in San Francisco, the dewatering wouldn't have mattered. The building was already resting on unstable material. The neighboring construction just revealed what was always going to happen eventually. Lawsuits were filed. Residents sued the developer. The developer sued the Transit Authority. The Transit Authority sued back. The legal proceedings involved hundreds of millions of dollars in claims and would drag on for years. By 2021, the tilt had reached 14 inches, visually measurable when you stood inside and looked at a level surface. A repair plan was finally approved. Engineers designed a system of new piles, this time driven to bedrock, installed around the perimeter of the building's foundation. The idea was to gradually transfer the building's load from the unstable friction piles to the new bedrock anchors, stopping the settlement and ideally correcting some of the tilt. Work began in 2022, and almost immediately, the tilt got worse. As the new piles were being installed, the drilling process disturbed the soil around the foundation. The building responded by tilting further, not by much, fractions of an inch, but the numbers were moving in the wrong direction while a repair was actively underway. Engineers paused certain operations, adjusted the sequencing, and eventually stabilized the process. By the time the repair was declared substantially complete, the building had not returned to vertical. It had not returned to its pre-repair tilt. It was, by some measurements, slightly more tilted than when the work began, though the sinking itself appeared to have slowed significantly. The final cost of the repair exceeded $100 million. That cost is still being disputed in court. Who pays and how much, and whether the repair actually solved the problem or merely slowed it. The Millennium Tower is still occupied. People still live there. The building is not in danger of collapse. Engineers are clear on that point. The structure itself is sound. The problem is not the steel and concrete. The problem is what the steel and concrete are sitting on. What makes this story different from most engineering failures is that the mistake was invisible for years. There was no dramatic collapse, no single moment of failure, just a slow, quiet descent, 18 inches over 15 years, that nobody would have noticed if residents hadn't started asking questions. The engineers who approved the friction pile foundation had data that supported their decision. The geotechnical reports were not fraudulent. The calculations were not obviously wrong. They made a judgment call on a building that was going to sit on problematic soil, and they decided the soil was adequate. They were wrong, but they wouldn't find out for 7 years, and by then, the building was full of people who had paid $10 million for a view. The Millennium Tower is still there. Still standing, still sinking, slowly, though the rate has decreased since the repair. Still the subject of active litigation, and still a case study in what happens when the foundation decision, the very first structural choice made before a single floor is framed, turns out to be the wrong one. Next week, a bridge that engineers flagged as dangerous 14 years before it collapsed, and the paper trail that proves they knew exactly what was coming. If this is the kind of story you want every week, one structure, one failure, the full account, subscribe. We're just getting started.